All right. Hey everyone, it's Ed with NEAAPA, and I'm here with Erik Beard from Wigan and Dana, who is going to be speaking at the 104th anniversary NEAAPA annual meeting and education conference in Springfield, Massachusetts. That's going to be coming up on March 27th through 29th. We're going to be at the Sheraton Springfield, learning all kinds of new things about what's going on in the attractions and entertainment industry. And Erik Beard is on our board and one of our speakers. So welcome, Erik.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. So you're going to be talking a lot about ADA compliance in the attraction industry. So can you give us a brief history of what the ADA is and how it's, and then we can get into a little bit more about how it's going to be impacting the industry?
Sure. The ADA is the Americans with Disabilities Act. It was passed in the early 90s as a means of providing equal access to Americans with disabilities to basically all the places where they have to spend their daily lives. So in the amusement park industry, for example, we worry about what's called Title III of the ADA, which covers places of public accommodation, which are things like amusement parks, shopping centers, grocery stores, movie theaters, pretty much anywhere where the public is invited to come and do their daily business. So what we're going to be talking about at the conference is really looking at how that fits within the entertainment industry and the attractions industry, because it's a little bit of a round peg trying to fit into a square hole.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I mean, I think that with us, we're always trying to make sure that we accommodate everybody, but the rules and definitions are sometimes changing, I think, as far as from when the act originally passed, you know, some 20 some years ago to now, and how as our industry morphs and changes, how the accommodations need to be made.
Yeah, really, there's two things that are changing all the time, and that's what makes this so interesting to me, but it's also so difficult for people like you who have to kind of work within the law every day, because the two things that are changing are the law itself. So in the last few years, there's been kind of a few interesting cases that have been litigated in court that have clarified what some of the new regulations that have been passed in, say, the last 10 years actually mean as they are applied to the amusement park industry. Without those cases, we're really kind of wandering around in a dark forest trying to find our way out. And these cases, while they're not the be-all and end-all, they give us some guidance. So we're going to talk about those. And then the other thing that's changing is our own industry. You know, the technology in our industry is just fundamentally different than it was, say, in 1992 when I first started in the industry. I mean, now, you know, you have manufacturers who are actually designing rides that are specially designed to accommodate guests with disabilities. And how does that fit within the law? That's another issue that we're going to be talking about at the conference. So, you know, what I have found is that, much as like what you have just said, everybody wants to accommodate guests with disabilities. The question is, how do you do that within the confines of the law? Because unfortunately, it's easy to make a wrong step if you don't know what you're doing, and that's why I really do care a lot about this issue, because I don't want to see anybody in the industry accidentally misstep with the best of intentions.
Sure. I mean, it sounds very complex. I mean, and I know, especially with the complexities are because our industry is so wide-ranging, everything from amusement parks to bowling centers to FECs to skating centers, and now, you know, ski resorts and trampoline parks. I mean, the list goes on and on about what's covered. So I can see how one case might apply here, and now we're trying to make that square peg fit in the round hole in another part of the industry.
Right. And it's not only that our industry is diverse, and it certainly is, but it's also the kinds of experiences that our industry offers are so different than what you would find in somebody's normal everyday life, which is really what the ADA drafters were thinking about when they passed the law. I mean, they were really thinking about places like car dealerships and grocery stores and, you know, churches and things like that, where people are just going to do their everyday activities. A skating rink, a bowling alley, an amusement park, an FEC, those are places where people go every now and then, but they're not going there every day generally. And they're also places that were not in the top of the legislature's mind when the ADA was passed. The ADA certainly does apply to those entities, though, and so trying to figure out how to cut through some of the complexity, because you're right, it is complex, but we need to try to cut through some of that complexity and try to give some, kind of practical tips that are easy to grasp and easy to get your head around, so that you can set yourself up better if you do end up in an ADA lawsuit, or hopefully that you'll never end up in that lawsuit in the first place, because you'll have a compliant policy right from the beginning.
Right. Well, Erik, I thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to hear more about what you have to teach us about the ADA and its applications in the industry. And again, the NEAAPA annual meeting, our 104th anniversary annual meeting and education conference, is coming up on March 27th through 29th in Springfield, Massachusetts. So, Erik, thank you so much for your time this morning.
You're very welcome. I'll see you there.
All right. See you there. Bye-bye.
Bye.